Hey everyone, it's Megan from Bookish Delights. Today's video is going to be a revisit to the Maybe book unhaul I had, where I picked out a couple books off of my bookshelf and was going to read like the first chapter to see if I wanted to continue with those books. So I'm just going to do like a little recap of the books that I had already decided that I'm unhauling. I still have them in the bag I put them in because I wanted to wait until I figured out if I wanted to unhaul any of these other books or not. So let's jump right into it. So the first one was Motive by Jonathan Kellerman, and I think this is like a 30-part series or more, and this is somewhere in the middle, and I just don't see myself picking this up anytime soon or reading a series that is that long. And that is the same with this one. This is Code by Kathy and Brendan Riches, and I said that it was possibly a trilogy, but I do believe it's actually more than a trilogy, and I just don't want to start something like that. And I don't even know if this is the first book in the series, and yeah, it's just not interesting to me. I don't see myself picking it up. And then I have Hidden by Helen Frost. This is a little novel that's written in prose, and it does have like a hidden secret, a message type thing within it, and it is a nice little read, but it's not something that I would reread, and it's not a favorite of mine, but it was nice to get into a book that's written in prose. Moving on, we have The Absoluteness of The Absoluteness of Nothing. That title, it always confuses me because, I don't know, that word just does not make sense to me. This is by C.G. Watson, and this was a DNF for me. The cover is absolutely stunning. It's a good color to put on your rainbow shelves, but I can't keep books just because of the cover. I don't know, this was just all over the place, and yeah, no, it was just all over the place. It's basically this person gets put into, like, he thinks he gets put into this game that he plays, and it's just a lot of game jargon, and I'm not going to consider myself a gamer, but I do like playing video games here and there, and it was not entertaining. It was just an absolute mess. And then the last book I talked about unhauling in that video was Tell Me Something Real by Kala Devlin. This was an okay read. It did have like a twist at the end, but it wasn't like a hard-hitting type book. It does deal with some sort of mental illness, and so I don't know, it's just the writing of it, it didn't really catch me. It's an okay read. It was good. I did like it. Like, I'm not, like, it's not, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's not a favorite, so I don't want to keep it on my shelf because I'm sure someone else would really enjoy this book. And the cover, this was a cover buy, I have to admit. I really liked the cover. It drew me in. Now I'm going to move on to the books that I put aside to read the first chapter in. Yeah, so this is Vivian Apple Against the World by Katie Cole. I started reading the first chapter, didn't get fully through the first chapter, and decided that I'm going to unhaul it. I thought I had a sticky note in here with like a little note as to why I was unhauling it, but basically it's a little all over the place It's a little more biblical than I would like. It's just not for me. Like, it's not like a religious novel, but there is some religion and biblical aspects in it, and it's just not something for me. Next book I'm going to unhaul is The Trouble with Alice by Olivia Glazebrook. This was on my TBR, or on my bookshelf in general, since like 2014, maybe 2013. I had it for a while. I started reading it. The first chapter I loved. It really intrigued me. It really captured me. But as I kept reading it, it kind of just fell apart. And it got boring and it dragged on. It's already a short book, but really there was a lot of stuff in this that you didn't really need in it. So I'm going goodbye. I DNF'd it. Alright, so this one is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And I actually did not read the first chapter because I do know that I will be giving this another try. So I didn't feel the need to reread the first chapter. I just need to be in the mood to read it. Next we have Wicked. This is by Nancy Holder and Debbie. I'm not even going to try and pronounce her name. Oh, it's not going to focus on the book. It's going to focus on my face. I don't know. You can look on Goodreads. The first chapter is very interesting. I quite enjoyed it. Oh, I do have it marked up here because this is actually a bind up of the first two books. So the first book is Witch and the second book is Curse. I kind of figured I would like this book because it is a little witchy and I like stuff like that. And I do have a sticky note here with little notes when I was reading the first chapter. So it does switch between different points of views and possibly time frames. I'm not quite sure on that one yet because I only read the first chapter, so it's hard to tell if like or time periods I should say, if it's different time periods when it switches point of views. Not exactly sure, but when I read more I will know more. Now some of the transitions between the two different perspectives are a little confusing, and transitions into like current day to past, it's a little lost, but other than that it's pretty good. And that was like the only 2 points that I had. Like nothing bad, it's just it's hard to get like a good feel in the first chapter, but sometimes you do get a book that the first line or 2 hits you, and this, I think I'm gonna like this book. And yeah, I have to speed this video along because my battery is flashing because I forgot to charge it. Next we have The Way I Used to Be, and oh, this first chapter, it was, oh wow, I was not expecting it. I did not read the back of this book at all. I did not read anything about this book. I just know that people liked it. I wanted to read it. The cover is beautiful. This is by Amber Smith, and the first chapter right away, there is a rape that happens. It does not go into detail, but you know that it does happen, so I want to give you that warning, and that's in the first chapter. So this is going to be emotional because the main character, Eden, she's kind of already not sure if she should tell someone or if she should keep it a secret. So I am so tongue-tied today. So it's going to be an emotional battle for her, for the reader, and I'm here for it. So this, I think I'm going to really love this book. I think it's going to be heartbreakingly beautiful. So we will have to see. The next one I have is How to Keep Rolling After a Fall by Carol Kazu. Yeah, it's a short little read. The cover is beautiful. I did not make a note on this one. I thought I did. I think I read like 2 chapters because they were short. I'm not quite sure. Some of the chapters were shorter, so I read a little bit more. But yeah, this already, there was mentions of some sort of feud with the main character, where I've already forgotten her name, Nikki or Nicole. She goes by both sometimes, depending on who you are. There has been a feud with her and a friend that she had and her co-worker that she was having a crush on. Turns out it's the old friend's brother, and now the brother is mad, but it hasn't told us yet what that feud was, what happened, but apparently she's on probation, so she's doing like community service. So it must have been something bad to get community service. So this I am keeping to continue reading. Next, I have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han, and I'm not sure about this book. The first chapter didn't really pull me in enough to be like, oh yeah, this is going to be a favorite, I just know it. But it didn't like make me want to just put the book up forever and give it away and haul it. I think I need to read a couple more chapters just to get like an actual feel for it. So I'm still on the fence about this one, but I will say that if I do end up reading it, I don't think it will stay on my shelf. It's hard to say. Like my note even says unsure. So this, I just need to give this a little bit more attention. I need to read a little bit more and then fully decide. It's hard for me to DNF books. I don't do it often, but I need to do it more because that's how I usually get into slumps. I read a book that I should have DNF'd and it just puts me in a bad mood. The next book I have is Beautiful Creatures. This is by Kami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. I do not like this cover. I prefer like the original covers or like the non-movie poster edition cover, what have you. And this is one that I'm also unsure about. Like there wasn't really enough detail in the first chapter to decide if I'm really going to love it or not. And I have heard that it's either like a hit or miss, like you either love it or you don't. I think it involves vampires or something like that in this series, but again, I only read like the first chapter, so I don't really know much about it, and I don't like reading into books or other people's reviews because I don't want it to sway my opinion if we're going to read the book or not. So this is also one that I need to read more into it and decide later if I'm actually going to get rid of it, but this might be one that will not stay on my shelf even if I do enjoy it, because I just don't like this cover. And then we have Linnell by the Sea. This is by Lori Lico Albanese, and this was intense. I read one chapter. I read one chapter of this. It's quite intense. The first chapter, a baby is already stolen, like right in the first paragraph, and then it kind of jumps back in time, so now it's going to lead up to why the baby was stolen. And basically what happened in the first chapter is, this is going to be a little hard for some people to read about because it does involve sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. That does happen within the first chapter, and that has to deal with why the baby got stolen. The mother of the child who had, or the baby, the infant who had died, she is the one that steals this other baby, so it's going to follow along her journey as to trying to move past what happened to her own baby and how it came to about how she stole this other baby. And that's all I know, so it is going to be a little bit emotional, I would assume, and it's only like a short little read, so hopefully I can get this done quick. And I really do want to like this book. I know it's just the cover of it drew me in because it's like mysterious. And then the last book I have is Replica by Lauren Oliver, and this is one where it's you can flip it, read it 2 different ways. So you can read this way first and then flip it over and read this way. This one here is Gemma's perspective and this one is Lyra's perspective. I started off with Lyra because that's just how I had picked up the book. But you can also read it chapter by chapter, as in read the first chapter of this side, switch to the first chapter, so go back and forth between the chapters. But that's going to take a little bit too much effort and time, so I'm just going to read one half first, flip it, then read the other half. So I did start with Lyra. Oh, I changed my glasses the other day and they got like the nose pieces on it, so they keep like, I don't know, they're making my nose itch a little bit because I'm not used to these glasses anymore. I'm used to my other ones. Yeah, this one here is a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. It is strange and intriguing, as I wrote on the little sticky note. They're not quite robots, but they're clones, so they're like part human, or they are human with some formalities or something. It's hard to judge in the first chapter, but right now I'm on the side where it's the clone, and they're actually called replicas instead of clones. Like, clone is apparently a bad word in the book. So I'm reading the replica, Lyra perspective, and she's already dealing with some type of sickness, like she's losing weight, she is getting sick, but she doesn't want to tell the nurse because then something bad might happen to her, like they might get rid of her type thing because they need to stay healthy or something along those lines. I'm not quite sure. Again, I only read the first chapter, but it is something that does intrigue me, especially with the like flip backwards thing where you can read it. Like, I've never seen that in books. Like, I've seen like choose your own adventure books. I used to love those when I was a kid. So this is intriguing to me, and those are the books. Didn't do too great, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was gonna be a little better for me to judge when to get rid of a book, but it only helped me get rid of 2 books, three books, because they were DNFs, and the other ones I just don't want to keep. Hopefully I can get rid of some other books eventually, because I have very little room left on my shelves. Actually, I don't think I have any rooms. Like, I'm starting to stack books, so I need to go on like a book buying ban and just read my physical books that I have and just try to comb down the books I have, because I just don't have any space. So I hope you guys like this video. I didn't vlog the whole try chapter thing because I don't know how to vlog, and that kind of scares me to start vlogging. Maybe one of these days we will see some sort of reading vlog, but don't count on it. Don't quote me on that. So I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon to receive any notifications for whenever I upload a video. And leave any comments, questions, concerns, and video suggestions down in the comments below. And I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And thanks for watching.